Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Post Plant. So, I say this is a special episode every time, but this is
Oh,
a special episode because we are joined by Betty, our
there.
producer. And so
Hello.
she'll be hosting
Hello?
with me, Dr. Delta, today. Betty, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, we haven't had an episode in a while. We've been busy, doing different gigs, which have been pretty good. But yeah, we've just let so much news pile up, so we definitely need to do an episode to flush out like everything that's been happening in the last month.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's get started then.
All right, let's take it away. First up, we
Okay,
got a few meta changes.
a few.
A
Uh,
smidge, a little
are
bit.
yeah, no, the meta is continually changing. So this announcement was a while back, but everyone was thinking Yoru was going to be the big thing. And have you seen a Yoru?
Like
Like,
not,
not as a meme.
yeah, like I've seen a
No, right?
few in my unrated games, but
Okay.
nothing at top level.
Yeah, no, I haven't been able to watch much of the main VCT, but I feel like I haven't seen a Yoru. If anything, I've seen Neon, but
Mm-hmm.
not a Yoru, which kind of makes me sad. Like they put all of those thoughts into the changes of like a walking flash and all that, but
Yeah,
still no love.
that's okay. But aside from Yoru, we got some major controller changes. We got Brim with I guess it's old news now, but like his moving,
Well, no, we're catching up, so go ahead.
we're catching up, his like move speed and like his new and improved stimmy beacon. We got some Omen stuff where like his ability price changes. And I think his smoke is faster now too, right?
Yeah, so now um all of the other controllers have taken reign. So we've seen a lot of Brimstone, a lot of Omen compared to Astra, which I mean I liked Astra, but observing her was very difficult. So it's kind of like a love-hate relationship.
But she was fun to
Um,
play. Like you get to spam
well,
her buttons.
okay, sure. I just didn't like. I like watching her be played. It's just for me going into the map is such a alternate experience that I just don't enjoy playing it.
You do
Kind of
go in
like
outer space,
first person.
so I
Yeah,
understand that.
it's a little too much for me to handle, to be
All
honest.
right, all right.
But yeah, I'm enjoying watching the brimstones put down the stem and people just shuttle across the map,
Mm-hmm.
bind, for example, split. So people are still getting used to it though. So there's not too much to report other than that. I don't think we have a set meta, which is kind of cool to be in this uncertain phase we haven't been in a while.
Mm-hmm. That's
Hmm.
true. And then we got a few map changes, mainly Icebox. I still am not entirely comfortable with it, but
Yeah.
the little bottom of tube on B, and then some of the placement of the boxes on B as well have been shifted.
Yeah. And I think people are appreciating that a little bit more. So in addition to the controller changes, with that change, I feel like it's just adding some fresh air into the game. So it's
Mm-hmm.
nice. Nice to see. I don't. Do we know? Have they haven't announced what other changes we're expecting? Right? It was like Euro was going to be the big change,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was going to be some balance changes, but I don't know if they announced what they would be.
I don't think so. I haven't heard too much.
Mhm.
Just Yoru, yeah.
Mm. Okay. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of all the meta changes, there have been a lot of tournaments in which we have been able to see these meta changes. So, in NA at least, there have been
No, no, not
multiple
gonna dash
standard
forward in
tournaments.
through.
people calling them Mickey Mouse tournaments, but it's been great because we've been able to see all of the kind of game changers teams compete in these tournaments.
Mhm.
That used to be a very big critique coming from a lot of people end of last year. Like, why aren't teams competing in the open tournaments?
Yeah.
Um, so we've been seeing mostly like TSM, Misfits, MILFs, who else?
Shopify.
Dart, Shopify Rebellion, Dart Monkeys. So they've been competing in kind of the Boom TV tournaments, the night tournaments. Uh, I saw one of them in like a DreamHack tournament,
Yeah, and MILFs was
and
in GLG
right.
recently.
So yeah, so they're definitely taking advantage of all of those
Mm-hmm.
tournaments to get as much experience as possible for for the upcoming series, Game Changer series,
Yeah.
and then just to get better in general. So it'll be interesting to see what the differential is once these teams compete
Mm-hmm.
together, like in Game Changers, like how stark of it, like these many of these teams already had a leg up, um but it'll be interesting to see how stark the difference is between the teams that have had these like, additional experiences compared to the ones that haven't.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Like even between the sign teams, like will we see a big difference between like TSM and
Like
like Gen
Dig.
G or CLG, who
Hmm.
maybe have the same level of skill but don't have the like previous tournament or extra tournament experience to back that up.
Hmm. Yeah, I've seen CLG do like one, but
Mm-hmm.
other than that, it's been mostly like Shopify Rebellion and
Yeah.
TSM, and I haven't really seen much of Dig. So yeah, there's lots to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see what else. TSM, actually, speaking of them, they came with an interesting idea where, and I was waiting for stuff like this to happen. So they had a tournament where they kind of mix and matched their rosters. So their main roster, academy roster, and their X roster. So the Game Changers roster.
Mm-hmm.
And then had like a charity tournament. I thought that was so cool. Like, I wish more orgs would do stuff like this.
Yeah, like especially for an org like TSM where you have like 15 players, uh,
Hmm.
then like why not run an in-house where you get to like there was a tweet before about uh like the male team facing off the Game Changers team, and then I think it was like Wardell or someone was like, "Oh, I could beat you with my like eyes closed or something." And then like you have stuff like this for them to actually show off how skilled they both are. So
Hmm.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it would be nice to just see more collaboration going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, even in content. So C9, not recently, but definitely back in the day, had a lot of joint content.
Mm.
Um, but I don't see any other orgs like doing joint content really. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
And maybe that's
Um,
just like a location thing. Like if they boot camp at the same time, they
mm-hmm.
can film like a whole backlog of stuff. But I don't know.
uh,
They should all go to
yeah,
lands and film stuff so that we are
that'd be
entertained.
amazing. We need entertain us,
Please
please.
do it for the content.
We want to pay for ads and pay you. Uh, yeah. So more content, please, especially
Yes.
joint content.
Mm-hmm.
Give us that. All right. What other tournaments have we seen? Team Liquid hosted a tournament recently with, or in conjunction with Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
So that finished up this weekend. Eve Ascension is the name of the tournament. Um, there wasn't a winner, was there? It was supposed to be like a round robin, right? I
Um,
actually didn't look.
a 4-team round robin will be held on the 20th. Oh, so the tournament itself was qualifying for the charity show match.
Right. Okay. That was so. the first day was a tournament in which like
Yes.
kind of the amateur teams that aren't signed, the newer teams, they got to compete in a bracket so that the winner could compete in the show match with the signed
Yes.
teams. So like CLG Red, for example. Um, so that was this past weekend. There was a little bit of drama with that.
No way.
So
No
I
way.
know. Tell me something. tell, tell me something new. Um, so commentary on like how TOs should run things, kind of standards being held against the different team or difference between like main circuit teams and game changers teams in terms of like the rules and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of discussion happening in the community on like how things should potentially be done.
Yeah.
Uh, so a lot to learn from with that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Community Gaming also held a tournament this weekend. So this tournament specifically for those of lower elo. So Iron to I believe Silver 3 was the cap for like being eligible to compete. And so that tournament went on its second rendition. So
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people in the community have been asking for like lower elo tournaments to give people more competitive experience. So
Yep.
it's great that they were able to do a second rendition.
And
I know
you
there was
were
also a little.
observing this one?
I did
Nice.
observe, yeah. And so Zombie Grub and Epitomes were casting, so it was a good time. I always enjoy working with those two. And Pay, of course. So yeah, that it was a great tournament. I love observing it and kind of like watching people grow as well.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, there is usually some drama that goes on again with just the nature of these tournaments.
Man.
So hopefully, some people will like continue to be engaged to want to throw these tournaments
Mm-hmm.
on because it's definitely needed.
Yeah.
But we just got to figure out how to throw them with the least amount of drama possible.
Yeah, like the thing with low elo tournaments is that like there's the issue of smurfing or cheating or just people who don't have a lot of tournament experience. So then they're like confused
So it's a
about,
mismatch of literally
yeah,
literally everything.
I don't, man.
Yeah, it's rough.
What's the
It
solution, Delta?
You're asking me?
Yep, I'm asking.
No.
I'm asking the questions here.
No, 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 no. Yeah, I can't answer that one. Sorry.
Man,
Um, but I guarantee if you do have an answer for that, people will come to you for advice because it's much
correct.
needed. Because we do need these tournaments. It's just there's always something that happens that makes it difficult to continue to have them.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to try to fix the problem so that we can just continue to grow rather than regress.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, talked a lot about tournaments. We have also a couple of roster changes, big roster changes in
Huge.
NA. The first one being CLG Benita is no longer competing with CLG. Um, that's huge. So I
Mm-hmm.
know she's been competing with them since their CS:GO roster, and just being a very prominent figure in the women's scene. Like as like a women player in CS:GO, and then also moving into Valorant.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a big loss for the community, but uh, yeah, CLG is gonna have to try to find a member to take her place because and those are some big shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm.
So good luck to CLG to figure out that in a few weeks.
Yeah, and from the wording of this statement, it doesn't sound like she's retiring, but
Yeah, you're right.
because it's like she's not representing CLG anymore, so it's kind of like who will she be representing in the future?
Hmm. Yeah, it
So,
wasn't. You're right. It wasn't clear like if she was completely retiring. It sounded like she was kind of taking a break, but like not permanent break or whatnot.
yeah.
But
And she
yeah,
hasn't released a statement or anything yet, right?
She retweeted it and said something.
Oh,
Uh,
hmm.
maybe if you click it, it'll be the
If I
first tweet.
click
But
it.
like click.
Uh,
Well, I meant click her name.
oh, no, no, here.
There
Seven
we go.
years, two different games, 14 finals. Thank you. Decision to step down came at a specific point in my life where I realized that change is needed for growth. I have an overwhelming desire to continue being the best player I can be. So
Well, there you
that's
have it.
promising.
So another team. Okay.
Another team. Yeah,
Dazed
Dazed
maybe version. Oh, okay. Yeah, you could be
exit
right. Dazed.
female, maybe version X.
Yeah, well, speaking of version X, yeah, version X are in need for two players.
Mm-hmm.
They have recently let go Natty and also have let go Milk. So
That's
yeah,
based
looking
God
for two
milk to
players.
you, Delta.
Uh,
That's
uh,
it. That's just her Twitter handle.
oh, okay. My bad. Um,
Man.
y- so losing your IGL, I have seen what that does to a team. It's a bit of a mess.
Mm,
Like what team was it? A crew I was watching the other day.
yeah.
A crew they were looking kind of rough to be honest.
That's when you
So
were
they
observing them against TSM, right?
TSM Academy, yeah.
Yeah.
So they apparently lost. Well, they lost their coach to TSM actually, and lost their IGL for that tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was a little rough trying to adapt.
Yeah.
So you could tell that they were working things out. So version X will have to adapt to that. I know Anders is a miracle worker and he's quite brilliant, but he's gonna have to use all of that brilliance to try to adapt to quickly fill those shoes.
Yeah.
So it could be Bonita. There are also a lot of free
Maybe.
agents. Speaking of a lot of free agents, another
Hello.
huge loss for the community was Polaris. So Polaris, like
Man.
two-time winners of Game Changers Academy, also competing in a lot of tournaments, even in the main circuit or not main circuit, in the open tournaments as well, rather. So they were definitely the team that we thought were going to get signed next because of their commitment and because of their record. They've been able to take maps and series off of like signed teams and other well-known teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a huge loss for the community. Um, that being said, though, now that most of the players are free agents, they are now able to be picked up individually. Hence,
Mm-hmm.
we see yes a signing GIF from
From Starlight.
Starlight and Triggered. So both of them, like, what was it, the day after or
I
something?
think so. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
really, really recent.
yeah. So a quick turnaround, and so all of these things have been happening behind the scenes. Like we know that some of these things happen before they even put the Twitter post out.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so much mismatch behind the scene of all of these players being shuttled around. So we don't really know what's gonna happen for game
Yeah.
changers.
I feel
What the rosters will look like. Yeah.
like the day of Game Changers qualifiers, we're gonna get like a heck ton of news of
Mm-hmm.
orcs being like, we'll be competing
Hey.
with, this is our
Yeah.
roster, and yeah, it's gonna be hectic.
Mm-hmm. I do wonder how official they're gonna make it. Like, because I know some people they do trial them
Yeah.
during even big tournaments. So I don't know if some of them will be a trial or will be like the legit thing. I want to lean for trial because it's still such a short turnaround uh,
That's true.
of just a few days. I know that Dodo Nut was being trialed for a while before they officially announced it.
Hmm.
So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, maybe if they make it into the main event they'll be like, this is our team. But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm excited to
Well,
see where people
yeah.
end up though.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of heartbreaking to see teams that have been together for so long
Mm-hmm.
break up, but it's also kind of exciting to have this shuffle around and see what the new rosters are capable of doing. Because clearly, like, there was some stagnating going on
Yeah.
that led to them wanting to make roster changes. So if it
Yeah.
just means more growth, then well, I guess I'm for that.
Yeah, like I feel like in the beginning of the game changer scene, it was really common to see like teams kind of just stick together no matter what. And
Hmm.
then now, as the scene has evolved, it's kind of like, okay, in order to be the best, we need to be able to adapt and make changes. And it's similar to like how the main circuit is. Like you see these
Yeah,
longtime players being shuffled around because their orgs or their coaches decide like this is the best way in order for this team to move forward. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But um, it's kind of how the game is.
yeah. I'm. I mean, you're right with teams investing in like coaching structure. So, like Shinobi for CLG Red and Anders for version X, they're more likely to want to make the hard calls to just make the team get better.
Yeah.
So as more coaching gets involved, we'll probably see more stuff like that.
Mhm.
Okay. So Game Changers Academy is
Woohoo.
coming up this week already. Where has this month gone? We were just talking about Game Changers last time. And then Polaris winning Game Changers nonetheless.
Yeah.
So it's already March, so the end of March, so Game Changers Academy going on.
Hmm.
I think they're keeping. Oh yeah, it says they're keeping with the 16 team bracket, and I know that was also a point of discussion in the community. Like, please open it up to 32. There's clearly
Hmm.
enough teams that want to compete, but then on the flip side, the struggle of a volunteer organization trying to handle 32
Yeah.
teams.
And it's also
So,
I remember seeing
mhm.
in the twit longer that Nietzsche, the owner of Valorant or founder of Valorant's posted, she was saying how like sometimes uh like it takes a while for players and teams to actually get signed up and confirmed like with all their registration information and everything that
Mhm.
like leading up to the tournament, if they're not like confirmed already, it's hard to consider the possibility of changing the format and opening things up if like teams don't have all this information ready to get registered.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a difficult argument on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it, we do want more tournaments, but then also we also don't want tournaments that have as many issues as we've seen as of recent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's like catch 22 at that point, but hopefully we'll have more really good tournaments coming up, and as Galorants gets more, hopefully more help and more experience, they'll be able to throw even larger tournaments
Yeah. Also, do we get 3 weekends of Game Changers
in a row.
events? Yeah.
You are right. So Game
Yes.
Changers, it's like a bonanza of Game Changers.
A
So Game
bonanza.
Changers, so Game Changers Academy this week
Mm-hmm.
and next week, Game Changers qualifiers. So the qualifiers to playoffs of Game Changers the following week. So yeah, 3 straight weeks of Game
Dang.
Changers. I wonder how many teams will want to compete in Academy
Mm-hmm.
though, that are signed or like have more experience. Probably not, because it's a way to like give up your strats, especially with the new meta. I don't know.
Is there like any cap or anything, or is it just
With
with
yeah,
Academy?
or with both. So Academy, the cap is 16, and then for the qualifiers, there is a cap. I don't remember what it is, but it was being filled up quite quickly. I know that Aloe put out a tweet like a few days after the announcement, and so she was like, "There's only so many spots left. Please sign up." Thank you, days. 32 teams. Yeah, that sounds
Oh.
about right.
But in
So
terms of like,
32. Yeah.
is there anything preventing some, say, like Cloud9 White from competing in Academy other than like strictly strat revealing?
No, so I think you just have to be, if you go back to the last tweet, it's like
Mm,
plat plus. What is it?
I think it's um
Yep, plat plus.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so if you wanted to, sure. So, but I have a feeling they're going to be hiding things as much as possible,
I see. Cool.
especially with all of the roster uncertainties. Probably going to want to hide things and just take it to scrims.
Fair.
Okay. Well,
Speaking
yeah, good.
speaking of all this bonanza of game changers, um
Yeah,
Verizon VCT Game Changers begins March
finally
31st.
announced. It took a while. Last time we were like begging for it.
Well,
Last time we shot.
Delta, this was dated March 8th. It is March
Oh,
21st.
okay. Well, like we said at the beginning, we've been a little busy, so we
You're
didn't get
right.
to do that.
You're
But it
right.
finally came out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's also some juicy information about um the
Juice.
the world champions at the end.
Ooh,
So we do have official language, although I'm looking at the
sorry, do
font
you need
is so
to zoom in?
tiny. I'm like, maybe. Yes,
There we
please.
go, there we go.
You're revealing my age. Okay. Game Changers World Championship. So the terminology has been a little weird in terms of how to refer to this thing. Um, but I like having official language. So Game Changers World Championships, we'll try to call it instead of just this strange land at the end of the year with some game changers. um, but we also now have a point distribution attached to that.
mm,
So each of the series throughout the year will, as you place, you'll be given a certain number of points, and then we can assume that these points will make you eligible for the world championship at the end of the year.
yes. Do you think,
As of Yeah, good.
hmm, I'm just thinking, do you think it will be like whoever has the most points at the end gets to go?
Yes, but then I don't know. We still don't know the distribution across the different regions. Like,
Mm,
it would be nice if there was three teams per region that could go. And I think we did some estimate math last time that said we could probably do 2 to 3 regions, or two teams per region, and then maybe three for like NA or EMEA or something like that.
mm-hmm.
Um, that would be nice. I would I just want as many teams to go as possible. Can they all just go?
I
If
That would be a really big bracket.
a 32 team bracket wouldn't,
Oh,
well,
well,
how many went in champions again? Like it was 16, right?
I don't.
I think we checked this. I
There was
already
a
I
good
have
amount of
more
teams
time.
there. I don't.
It was I think it was 16, I want to say, for
Okay, Dazed says at least 12 like Masters.
yeah, okay. Uh, as long as it's not just like one, that should be good, because I
Just
feel like that's
one
not a
from
fair
each
distribution.
region.
Yeah, no, that would be very, very sad. So,
Agreed.
uh, that information should come out soon though, because teams need to kind of know what their chances are, or maybe they'll wait as late as possible so teams think they have a chance, so they'll try even to fight. Well, no, team should be trying to fight anyway. I'm just twirling around an argument. I don't know. I just want to find out soon because I don't like waiting for information, but that's just me.
Agreed. But I feel like they won't release anything till like at least the summer.
Yeah, probably.
Well,
They probably don't even know
if
themselves.
the World Champs is like what, September, October?
November is when that
Oh,
graphic
yes, the
they
last
pulled it up.
quarter. Then I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. We might be waiting till like September.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's no point in me like saying, "Oh, please tell me." We're gonna wait that long. Okay. Well, EMEA.
EMEA.
Let Let's go to EMEA. So they too have announced their Game Changers, their next Game Changer series. So we're having our first one here in NA. Meanwhile, EMEA and most of the other regions are having their second one. So this one has been announced for April 25th for those qualifiers to start.
Yes.
Um, I have heard that they're also planning on doing Game Changers Academy soon-ish.
Right.
Those details haven't been released yet, but there I've heard it is in the pipeline of
Mm.
doing an Academy series in the near future. So we will ideally announce that as soon as that's ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, one good thing NA has, uh, like Academy is gonna be every single month. So like to our
Yeah, with
amateur kind of lower teams, there's a lot more chances for them to get that experience in, even if they're not playing in opens, and make maybe make that transition up to like the main game changer circuit a bit easier.
mhm. Yeah. Cuz that was something we spoke with Naoshi about. Like she thinks Brazil is so strong because they have so many Game Changer Academy tournaments. So I think she has a good point.
Agreed. Um, More EMEA news. There was the Birds of Prey tournament put on by the Goose House, and a favorite of ours, 10 Star Nova, were the episode 3 champions. And I didn't get a chance to watch much of this, Delta. Do you have any
I also did not get
other
to watch much
words,
of that.
analysis?
Definitely no analysis here. Kind of hard to analyze a game I did not watch. People have tried, but not here. 10 Star Nova winning. I do want to say though that they when they added Nello back on, um, I was kind of hoping that they would return to form. Um, so we announced in a previous episode about them doing a roster change. And so that was just their most recent evidence of of their roster change. So I kind of hope that this is a sign for in game changers that the team will kind of do a little bit better than they performed last time. Maybe take on G2 since G2 seems to be winning lately.
You never know.
Yeah, I mean, 10 Star won the first two Game Changer series, so we kind of thought they would take the third one. But so two have gone to 10 Star, two have gone to G2. And so who knows? Maybe they will be able to give G2 a run for their money. With So we talked about all of these tournaments that we would like to see in EMEA. So there's the Birds of Prey, the Rigstock GG tournament. And there's another one that had been announced by Average Jonas, no less. So Team Liquid seems to be interested in hosting tournaments for these teams, which I guess is a good thing. Um, I hope the rules that were in NA don't apply to this one, or they might have a little bit of controversy. But
Yeah,
yeah, Average
that's
Jonas
nice.
Nordic. Yeah, well,
Um,
the problem with this one though, this was supposed to be the same day as the Birds of Prey tournament.
mm-hmm.
Clearly, a miscommunication in the community of when to throw this tournament, but announced that they were going to move the tournament since Birds of Prey like had dibs and they mentioned it way in advance. Um, so it's a great call on their half.
Hmm. Very nice of them to allow teams not to have to choose between two tournaments and just being able to play in all of them.
Hmm. Yeah. And just like you said, wanting to have as many opportunities as possible to practice and just figure out these roster changes because there are also a couple of roster changes that have happened in EMEA. So Guild's roster has been fairly stable, but they recently announced that they were letting go Kim um, from their roster. So I didn't really expect like a roster change from a large team or like a signed team, but yeah, that that happened what, like an hour, 2 hours ago. When's the timestamp?
Yeah, it's like morning for us, but I guess afternoon for them.
Okay.
Also, can I just
So
say I
yeah, go ahead.
love the like Subway logo that's just like blatantly on their jersey. That's all.
Uh, I wonder how much money Subway had to put to, like, you would
Man,
think it would be like Guild X and then like Subway in small print, but no, it's just Subway.
someone it kind of look it like it's so straight that it looks like they like just put it on
It looks
post
kind
photo.
of photoshopped, not
Yeah,
yeah, not gonna lie.
but that that's okay. That's okay.
Okay. So I've I I'll admit I forgot to do this. Um and I'm glad I just checked. So I looked up the Birds of Prey tournament and because I wanted to see how Guild X performed and why they possibly let go Kim. Well, I have the answer. Do you have a guess on who played with Guild in Birds of Prey? Their
Um,
recent free agent.
is it whoever they let go from 10 Star?
No, it is not.
Oh,
You get one more guess. One more guess.
is it CLG Bonita?
Okay, no more guesses for you.
No.
No, it's Anja or Anya.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, because she got
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um from G2 and then from that little pug roster she made.
Mhm. Mhm. So,
Now
yeah,
she's
so Untapped.
possibly Gil?
Yeah, so played uh with Guild in Birds of Prey, and I guess they liked Anya. They made it to the grand finals, so it's not too bad.
Mm.
Um So being in the finals with 10 star, and they had a perfect record up until then. Um, so they must have liked playing with Anya. So cool
So
for
it
them. But
was Anya
yeah,
subbing in for Kim.
yeah. I mean, I guess it was in that case like more like a trial.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mm.
and they would have had to do a bit of roster or role switches because if I recall, let's see, Kim was.
Kim was.
Oh, never mind. Kim was a mix, like a flex, basically,
Ooh.
which sounds about right for like Anya can play anything.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Well, that'll be something to watch for in the Game Changer series coming up as well.
Great. And then
All right.
speaking of Anya's old teams,
Former team. Yeah. It's nice how these flow together, don't they? Yeah. Well,
Untapped.
Untapped. Yeah, go ahead.
Um, they have a new roster. Medica, Samsi, Amy, Jade, and Hated. And it
Mm-hmm.
looks like they're looking to kind of lock in this roster from their wording. Um, Going to the next EMEA Game Changers and beyond.
Yeah. So, like you said, Anya played with this team last time and they dominated, which is why it was so shocking when Anya left. Um, so this time, Hated the Most will be playing with them, and they are another kind of, uh, for lack of a better term, recent dropout from a signed team. So I anticipate this team also performing quite well because there are a bunch of players with the experience.
Hmm.
So Hated the Most came from Alliance, um, and I don't think Alliance performed too well, but Untapped did.
Hmm.
So I anticipate great things from Untapped in the next series.
Yeah. This kind of is drawn, not to compare everything to NA, but I think it is what we and our audience know the most. If Untapped are able to kind of lock in a solid looking roster, I think they could be like similar to Polaris, like this great kind of
Yeah.
Avenger like pug team.
Yeah.
Mm,
That's a
yeah.
fair way to put it. Yeah. Okay. I think we have tapped everything for EMEA. APAC. So APAC has been busy. So they have had both their Game Changers series as well as their Game Changers Academy series. So with their main Game Changer series, again it was a battle as we would have expected between X10 Crit and Alter Ego Celeste. Um, Alter Ego. Wait, did I sent I sent the
Mm,
VLR page for that, right?
yes, I think so. Let
Okay, cool,
me.
cool, cool.
Yep, here. So here is the bracket.
Oh
So,
goodness, it's tiny again.
oh my goodness. Here we
I'm
go.
sorry.
It's
Thank
fine.
thank
It's
you.
fine.
Thank you for your help. Okay. So, Alter Ego Celeste again just dominating throughout the tournament.
Hmm.
I I thought X10 Crit would have at least like, well, okay. So to be fair, they did perform quite well in the finals. So this was a while back, so I've slowly started losing the plays in my mind, but I do remember the grand finals being very close.
Yeah.
I thought X10 Crit were gonna win. So if you go into
Let's
that
take
series,
a look. 3-2 for Alter Ego Celeste.
hmm
But, oh, does it show
so
me?
I
Yes.
if you go through like each map, each one was relatively close, except when you go to Bind. Like Bind, it looks like X10 kind of petered out. And I will tell you, so they played the semifinals. This this is
Ooh.
why when I don't remember what tournament it was, but someone was kind of angry that the semifinals were the same day as the finals. And I'm like, well, these gals had to like play the semifinals and finals as well on the
And the
same day
finals is
in
a
a
best
best
of
of five.
five.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
crazy.
So of course they're tired. You just played a very stressful like game to get out of the lower finals. You're like mentally beat. And then you have to play against your rival, no less, who just beat you like the day before. And
Mm-hmm.
so you had to have the time to like anti-strat and like figure out what you did wrong, VOD review. That's a stressful set to like 2 set of days.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they went through the fire. I it would be a stretch to say, but not improbable that if they were not tired, they could have probably made a much closer map 5. But unfortunately, they weren't able to do that.
Who's to say?
Yeah. So yeah, another a closer grand finals,
Mm-hmm.
making for a very exciting set of games. What else? Game Changers Academy, though. So this is the first Game Changers Academy that has happened in APAC. So we spoke to like Kim, who kind of shared with us the vision for FSL and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting Oh, yes, yes, Sparky. So the lower finals was a best of five as well, right?
I think it was a best of three. Let me.
Was it?
Yeah, so lower
Oh no, it was a
final
best of three.
two
Okay.
zero, and then grand final was best of five.
Okay. Yeah, no, that would be a bit much. But I feel like I have seen that before, where a lower grand
Really?
or lower final. Yeah, I have seen lower finals of best of fives,
Oh,
and that's painful. I don't think they do those on the same day though.
that's a long day.
That's quite a long day.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Game Changers Academy. So they were able to fill 62 slots. Now, this is where I would want to refer to Kim because I remember she was saying that the Game Changers Academy were having individual signups.
Correct.
Um, she mentioned that because she wanted, or FSL wanted the players to have the most opportunities to compete, and so didn't want the inability to find the team to be a limitation.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that. But in terms of who wins this tournament, I am not quite clear on that. So if you turn to like the most recent post from the group, so they announced winners of the Game Changers Academy series, but like by player. So I need to do more
Hmm.
digging on what this means exactly. Um, so rather
Yeah.
than designating teams to win, they've given players the designation to win. So we will follow up with you. We'll follow up with Kim, and then follow back up with you all to figure out what exactly does that mean. That is that's a unique situation that
Actually, let me
neither
see if
of us are familiar with.
do they have a VLR page for this?
No, not for Game Changers Academy.
That's. I feel like because it's not even top five, where you could be like, oh, these are the top five. These are the five players of the winning team. These are
Right.
top four.
Well,
So,
they rank them up until like 10, I think. There's another like in the thread or something like that.
oh,
But even with that being said, it's still a very odd
let me see.
way to do that. So we will follow up and figure out what exactly does that mean. Um,
Yeah, so then,
yeah.
hold on. I found this.
Oh,
I
you're doing
found
investigative
something.
work.
So then there's this tweet, which is what we saw before top four winners. Then they have the next four. So then I guess Hexy and Scarlet are tied for fourth. Then they have six, seven, and eight. Then we have three players who are tied for ninth. Um,
Even more confusing. How do
so
you? What's the point system
like, would this be KDA? But I feel like that's terrible for, um,
for ranking?
yeah. Or is it like an elo system where they kind of, Matt? It's kind of like, um, I don't
I
know.
I don't know. Any guesses in the chat, or anyone want to do investigative work? While
If
we, well,
Kim's watching, please let us know.
please explain yourself.
Uh,
We would love to figure out how this works. And who knows, maybe it's a better method because clearly stuff's been going wrong in some of our
maybe.
tournaments. So maybe this is a better method. So we would love to figure out what's going on.
But then my question then becomes if there are some like amateur teams, do they sign up solo and like just use this as a chance to show off or like gain more like communication and IGLing skills
Oh, interesting. Okay.
or like do they
Sorry,
hope to get put on the same team? What did you find?
Hmm. Well, I remember reading this tweet and I kind of just blew past it
Oh my
because
goodness.
I was busy. So I see that it says 60 players will be participating in Game Changers APAC Academy this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
With a Swiss bracket format, 12 teams will be formed randomly, and all of the players will have to play a total of 6 different maps, 3 games each day. Whoa. Talk about throwing you in the fire.
Okay, I think I found the one you found. So,
Yep, that one.
hmm. Okay, so this is part one. Where's part two?
I don't, yeah, I was
Oh,
looking,
here,
I
part
didn't
two.
see it.
Come join us tomorrow on
Oh, you do?
Sunday.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
also, something that was talked about during our APEC episode was that they're they have like this talent mentoring program. So
Yeah.
then the talent mentees will be casting the academy games, which is fun. It's cool. Uh,
I Okay, I'm speculating, but I wonder if it's because they had so many individual signups that they were like, let's just do this. Because it was supposed to be like you can sign up as an individual or as a team. And
mm,
it would maybe be unfair to have like or strange to have like two teams, two formed teams, and then everyone's an individual. So it's just like, whatever. Let's just have everyone fend for themselves. Uh with the intention of like forming a team at a later point in time.
mm. I don't know. Because I
I
feel
don't know.
like the difference between, like, because at least my speculation with uh, kind of tournaments that force you to sign up as five is that, like, you find these players on your own, you play with them for a bit, then you kind of decide if you want to join the tournament. But if you're signing up as an individual, you're kind of meeting, especially if it's formed
Randomly.
randomly plus a couple of days beforehand, you don't really get a chance to get to know your teammates, get to play a few games together. So, if that's the case, then I feel like having formed teams playing against these like very new, very pug style random teams is very unfair.
Uh, So playing like devil's advocate,
Ah.
it could be beneficial
Mm-hmm.
to do this format because you're just trying to I'm equating it to a dating um I've already lost the word. What's the
All
like
right. A website, a
no,
an app,
no,
a
like when
dating
you date a lot of
pool,
people in no. You've been
dating
guessing today.
system, matchmaking system.
Yes, when you matchmake.
Okay, there we
So,
go.
like or no, not matchmaking.
Ooh,
You know, like when you sit in a chair
a
and
sitting in a
then you
chair.
have to like alternate chairs every 5 minutes, and then
Oh,
you.
speed dating.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes,
So
yes.
this would be the.
Anton got it at the same time as I did.
Thank you, thank you. So the equivalent of speed dating for Valorant,
Zoom,
which
Zoom dating. Sorry.
could be useful because you don't really get the opportunity to literally speed date to find your teammates. So because there were multiple series or multiple games that the players had to play in these random teams, um, you got a chance to see who you mesh with. And then maybe for the next Game Changers Academy, the intention is to have more set teams. Um,
More speed
so that
dating.
yeah, so this could be the I mean I kind of like it if you put it in that framework.
Yeah, I just I would like there to be either all everyone is speed dating or everyone is
Not come as a couple to the speed
not
dating.
go to the speed date. Yes, we don't want a five a quin
A
throw.
five some.
I was trying to equate like a thruple, but like a quinple.
You've lost me.
like a throuple is three. Anyways,
Oh,
you
jeez.
don't want to be bringing yourself and your four partners to a speed dating thing.
No, you don't.
Or
You
like
do
you
not.
could, but like I want them, you know. Yeah.
Got it. I think we've abused the analogy enough.
I don't I don't know.
Okay, moving on
Moving
to the
on.
next region.
Moving on.
Um,
Sorry, APAC.
so
Sorry,
Lat
Kim.
so LATAM also had a busy weekend. So last 2 weekends, they first had their series in the north, and then they
Correct.
they had their series for the south this past weekend. So let's see. North,
Ooh.
we had for the first, I'm talking in a lot of relative words, I'm sorry. For the first series, Skullcracker Femme were the winners for LATAM North. Skullcracker Femme went into the finals this time, but they lost to Firepower. So I was
Oh,
looking into these
yes.
teams a little bit, and they're basically rivals for the North. Firepower, like they are undefeated except for when they go against Skullcracker Femme. So that's saying something. Bless you.
Thank you.
So these are two of the powerhouses in the
Mm-hmm.
region, basically. Um, well, Skullcracker Femme recently underwent a roster change, so they lost Cryptid to to content creation. I was gonna say lost to another team, but no, they lost her to content creation, and so they had to deal with the roster changes. And when I spoke actually with Eileen, so she's one of the players of Firepower, she mentioned that maybe Skullcracker, if I'm were a little comfortable, a little too comfortable in
Mm,
their position as number one.
I see.
So that in combination with the roster change could have led to the Firepower team overtaking them.
Mm-hmm.
But when when I spoke with her, she was very confident and like
Mm-hmm.
confident in the time that they spend in the game and that they can stay at like number one for the region.
Nice. Maybe it'll end up kind of being like a 10-star comfortable at the top, and then G2 kind of comes in and yeah,
Yeah, something
that's
like
my
that.
analogy.
That's your analogy. I like it.
Thank you.
For this is like one of the reasons why I think it'd be so detrimental if we don't have multiple teams go to that world
Mm-hmm.
championship. Like this is a clear example of two teams at the top doing the work,
Yep.
and if it comes down to picking one of them, I'm pretty sure like that'll be heartbreaking. Um so don't make that happen, right? Please invite
Riot.
more than one team
Don't do it,
per
or
region,
else.
or else Betty will come find you.
Yep. I'll.
Yep.
That's what I'm gonna do. Um, we got the north.
so, so the South, yes.
Let's go.
So Crew this time they or in the South they were able to maintain their status as the champions, winning quite decisively, I should say. So vamos Crew, yeah, that's all
Ooh,
I can say.
agreed.
Uh, yeah, Crew doing Crew things. So they are they're a little bit. It seems like it's a little less of a tete-a-tete kind of situation there where Crew is just dominating in the South.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Who do you think would win
uh,
between Crew versus
like
Skullcracker or
firepower,
Firepower?
no idea. That's
Hmm.
a Dryad question. Dryad would be able to answer that question
Dryad,
quite well for you.
where are you?
So if she's in chat, please give your input. But if not, I will save that question and ask her. Um, and maybe we'll be able to share that answer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last region of the day. Let's go. Brazil. So this news isn't related to the Game Changers tournaments specifically, but um, as we've been saying in NA at least, we want these teams to compete in the main circuit and as many tournaments as humanly possible,
Mm-hmm.
and they're doing that. So game. Oh goodness, I always
You can do this.
I always want to say Team Liquid Purple, so I'm
You
just
would be
calling it out.
incorrect.
Yeah, probably.
Um,
Game Landers Purple, Team Liquid Brazil, and other teams like B4 Angels. They have been competing in the open circuit.
mhm.
Um, so Team Liquid actually made it into like the quarterfinals of the open qualifiers the first time,
Oh,
uh, which
this
I was excited for. Like, it's
is
pretty
this
close to
quarterfinals?
qualifying. It is it? Did I mess up?
I
If you
think
scroll up,
this
it should
is.
say.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Hey there.
Yes. So quarterfinals of the open quals.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, Brazil. Yeah, we spoke a lot about Brazil just moving super fast in game, moving super fast logistically as well. So
Mhm.
this is the qualifiers to the second stage, even though we haven't even had Masters 1
I'm
yet.
sorry.
Yeah, you heard me. So it's interesting because if you pull up the Brazil stats, Series 1 and Series 2 are happening simultaneously and was confusing me for a bit. But yeah, so they're finishing up Series 1 in the playoffs and then simultaneously doing the qualifiers to Stage 2 before Masters 1 even starts. So
I
talk
mean,
about a leg up.
like I could kind of see it in the case that like, oh, we don't want these players to be spending so much time not playing. So if we just squash everything together and then
Hmm.
maybe for any teams that haven't made any tournaments, then they're able to compete in all the tier two, blah blah blah, other tournaments. But
Yeah.
then that means it's like maybe half a year of not playing in VCT
Well,
if they're I don't know.
right. No, I like that argument. But then my question is, if they keep pushing it back, like, so are they gonna do the same thing for like Masters 3, where they play Series 3 during Masters? Like, I mean, I guess there's no problem with pushing things back, really.
Yeah. Wait, so if the qualifiers, hmm. So the playoffs for the first one are happening during.
Like now.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So
Ah,
your argument though of not playing for a while is a point taken. Like, the teams are going to be out of practice. My question then is, do the people who are playing in the playoffs then get special privileges to play in the playoffs for the second stage? Because that would be kind of unfair
yeah, that'd be very
if they didn't
unfair.
have some sort of perk or automatic qualifier.
I would assume maybe they automatically get into the closed qualifier.
Yeah, but then is the timing of that? I'm this is beyond the scope. But
This is
point being,
beyond the post plan scope, but
yeah, way beyond that. But point being, we have been seeing Game Landers Purple, Team Liquid Brazil, and other teams also compete, which is great to see.
mhm.
Um, the second open qualifiers teams didn't do as well as the first one, but
Second open qualifier. Let's see.
it's it's still a good sight to see.
Yeah, so it looks like Team Liquid Brazil got out in round of 64.
Hmm.
Gamelanders made it to, what is this? Round of 32, but
Yeah.
didn't make it to the playoffs. Man.
Yeah. So, uh, it'll be a while, I guess, before we see what happens in the next series when they're allowed to compete again.
Hmm.
But I think that's it for today, right?
I think so. We'll get lots of
Any,
news in the upcoming weeks as
yeah,
we have a bonanza of Game Changers events.
yeah. No, we're gonna be quite busy. They haven't announced if they're allowing co-streaming for Game Changers, so stay tuned with that
Hmm.
because definitely we'll want to catch a few of those games with everyone.
Yep.
So stay tuned on our socials for that information. Also, if you aren't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe. I would love to have double digits by this week, please.
What are we
I
at
I need
now?
the ego boost. I think we're at like not 8 or 9, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
So we
could.
definitely
There's 2 to 3 people in this chat. I think we could squeeze it.
yes. Everyone who is in chat, go subscribe. And I know you have more than one Gmail account, so you can subscribe on multiple Gmail accounts.
Oh my
so
goodness.
so you can do us that favor. We also became affiliate a while back, so we do tape subscribers here. But the
Mm-hmm.
other one is free, so you can definitely go do that. All right. Well, I think that's everything that we wanted to say for today. Definitely
Mm-hmm.
stay tuned for our next episode. Don't know when they have been a little
Sporadic.
sporadic because we've had some of us have had gigs on Monday. Um, so definitely stay tuned on the Twitter for the next episode. But for those of you who are in chat or those of you watching this VOD later, we do appreciate you and thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much for watching. Have a good night.
Bye bye.